Hello, my name is Garrett Maxon. Today we're going to go over making check marks in Dragon Advanced Scripting for DNS 15 Professional. We're going to start here. In the previous video, I went through and show how to make a dialog box, and that's going to be in this part. So I'm not really going to go over this. It's easily just choose a checkbox, mark it over, and then when you have it on here, you're going to have the caption for it. This isn't really necessary for the programming part, but this is allowed for the how you're going to show what you're marking, basically a text for it, label. Anyways, so we'll go outside of this, and then so when we make those check boxes, it's going to come up with these three things, and these will also have the label that we put on them, and then we'll also have what we're going to use for the object, or how we're going to call out later. So we've got .music, .computers, .cars. Those are the three checkboxes that we allow for. And then so down, once we call this, let's bring up our dialog box, and it's going to allow us to choose 1, 2, or 3 of the options available. I should probably have a little text up here saying that. What are your hobbies? So we'll go ahead and make a label there. Okay, so that makes a little bit more clear what's going on. Okay, we're going to save it, and then it's going to add this text. Also, something to know, that's a good example of it, is that we can move around these items inside of the dialog box to keep it organized. It's not going to mess it up. However, if you do have things that are overlapping each other, like sometimes you can use one of these boxes, and if you put over something else in this order, will tell which one's up front and which one's behind. We can go over that in another tutorial. So once you bring up the dialog box, then we go ahead and say press OK, like we've gone over. What's going to happen is inside of the text editor that we're in, it's going to send these keys. My hobbies include. Then here we have to make if-then statements, and we have to make if-then statements based on what if we checked 1, 2, or 3, or all three of them, and which ones we checked, and it has to come out so that the sentence is clear and it's not, you know, like if there's an and, or if there is a comma in there, or a period. So to do this, we do this way. We can do an if-then statement. It's one of the simplest ways to do it. So if we do if the DLG1 dialog box 1 dot music is checked, which is 1 for checked, 0 for not checked, then send keys music. And then after we send the music, we're going to check to see if the other two are checked. And if they are, we're going to send either a comma, but if both of them are checked, we're going to send an and. If both of them are checked, we're going to send a comma. If one of them is checked, we're going to send an and, because it'd be 2 items instead of 3 items. So 3 items, you have to have a comma separating the first two, and then an and separating the third one. So, but if you only have 2 items, which is this one, which would mean that music was checked and cars was checked, then we just say music and cars. So, and then if we go on, so once that first one is done, we can go on to the second one, which is computers, and then the third ones will be cars. So, if DLG1 computers is checked, then send keys computers, which will just say the same thing as this, is just we're just sending that, and then we're sending the formatting after it. And then if cars is checked, then add and. And then the last case, if this is the only one that's chosen, then it'll just be cars. So, and then at that point we have, at the end of the sentence, we just add our period. This is the easiest way to go about adding multiple things and not having to have, radio boxes are used for one, check boxes are for selecting multiple things going on, so they can be useful. So we'll go ahead and example of dot box check marks. Go ahead and show you how this works. Example of dialog box check marks. Okay, and at this point we can select 1 and 3, basically music and cars, and the sentence should come out correctly. hobbies include music and cars. Example of dialog boxes check marks. And we can choose just the first one. We should probably take this one away, but we can format that. You get to understand the point. And then we can do all three. Example of dialog box check marks. And then we can select all three, and the editing will come out. So the hardest part about this is not the actual programming itself. It's understanding what your sentence structure is going to be like while using it. You can also use check marks to have particular options. Instead of actually sending something, you can have it do something like go to a website. If you put the proper command in here, if if music 1 is checked, then go to I would have to bring the coding in a different tutorial, but you would go to do some action here, and then if this one is there, to then also do a different action. So it doesn't have to be necessary for sending text into a document, even though that's the way I'm showing as a tutorial. You can use this any way that you want to. It's just basically what's going to be inside this if statement, what's going to run if this check mark is clicked. So I hope that makes sense. Please write if you have any questions, and thank you for your time.